How many roads? Couple roads. Best road is in the middle. Narrow road in the middle. Okay. So what we got right here, right? We got we have the narrow path or the way, right? To salvation. You see, this is leading up to the kingdom, right? You got this house right here. Then we have over to the right, damnation. Can anybody explain why this house looks bigger than this one?
Because there's more folks in it.
More folks in it? That's a good one. No, not quite though. It's easier. Definitely easier. But not quite what I was thinking when I drew it.
Because you drew it bigger.
So I drew it bigger? Yeah. No. Okay, the house here is bigger. Anytime you're traveling, when you look in the distance, things seem much smaller, further away, right? But these things that along this road leading up to this one, they're kind of tangible. You can get them right now. You know what I'm saying? The things leading up to damnation, right? You see wealth, women, fame. You see money around it, right? Hustle, prosperity, love. But right here in the corner is damnation. You see the front of the house, but when you look at a house, you don't really get to see the backyard like that when you're riding back, right? People swimming in a lake in the backyard, right? You don't get to see that from the outside. You know what I'm saying? But looks are deceiving. You're going to look at this and say, oh man, this big old house, they welcoming everybody, prosperity, all type of stuff in here, right? So a lot of people going to go. If you notice, this road is more narrow, right? This road got 4 lanes. As many as you can fit on here. Come on through, right? Now, we got a road on the side of here too. What y'all think this road represents?
Backslide.
Backslide? That's a good way to look at it. Backslide. I wrote that.
Straight from the path.
Emergency exit. What'd you say? Al?
Straight from the path.
Wouldn't this be straying from the path too?
The way back to the path.
The way back. The way back. Now, the way back, it ain't as big as the way going. Because it go right back to being narrow. Right? Now, on this, the narrow path, you got hurt, struggle, fasting, baptism, clean, loneliness, pain. Right? Sound about right?
Yeah.
Then in the middle of that, you got LAWS. The law. Right? This right here is the main reason why people get off. Because of the law. Right? Sometimes they get too hard. Sometimes it's overbearing. Who want to go through hurt, struggle, loneliness, pain? Who want to go through that? Right? To get to something that seems so far away. But inside of this, even though you got this little house, right? That's only because it's further away. All of this behind it is connected to it. You got salvation, the Father, the Son, life, mansions, etc. Right? Which road y'all taking? Which road you want to take? Which one you actually taking? Y'all sure?
Yes. Narrow.
I'm gonna ask y'all again before we start. Y'all sure?
No.
Sure?
No.
The word salvation, right? Now I looked up quotes for salvation versus damnation to see what people had to say. And the biggest one was Stephen King, or Stephen King, how do you say the man's name? He says, there's no difference between salvation and damnation. There's no, he didn't say except. There's no difference between salvation and damnation. What you think about that?
Hooey.
Hooey. It's a big difference, right? What's the difference? Anybody traveling to damnation know that's where they're going or intend to go?
Well, maybe.
Some people don't care,
Yeah, exactly.
but
Right.
most of them don't know. They don't know just because they see all this stuff that they getting what they getting into. You know what I'm saying? But it's there. The biggest difference between salvation and damnation is the road you take to get to them. Right? So the definition that they got for salvation, I didn't do. I did the root word, right? Salvation is well, the root word of salvation is what? Yeshua? Not in Hebrew. Say, no, not quite. Salvage. Right? The root word in salvation is to salvage. What's the root word to damnation? Damn. Right? Stop cussing. But to salvage, right? So let's look at that. Salvage, they had the act of saving a ship or cargo from the perils of the sea. Right? Some of the synonyms to this was deliver, to get back, ransom, to recover, to regain, to restore, and to retrieve. Those sound familiar? Right. Damnation. The definition was to declare something to be bad, unfit, or illegal. Sound about right? Synonyms was attack, to cast out, to convict, to criticize, to doom, to execrate, to banish, excommunicate. Get Luke 16:22 right quick. I stopped on banish and excommunicate just for a reason. We're going to read this right quick, right? Penalty and sentencing, right? We're going to deal with excommunicating and banish. It's just to give us a picture of what we got to look for, right?
Luke 16 what?
Luke 16:22. We dealt with this on Bible study day, right? We dealt with mercy, right? Luke 16:22. Now he says to banish or to excommunicate. Luke 16:22.
Luke chapter 16 and verse 22. And it came to pass that the beggar died.
So we know the story about the rich man and the beggar, right? We know what happened, right? You read it.
And was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom.
So you got this beggar that was at this man's gate. He was rich, you know what I'm saying? He had everything. And the beggar was sitting at his gate. All he wanted was the crumbs off this man's table, right? He didn't give them to him. He didn't help him. And he died. Then the rich man died as well. So what did that just say?
The rich man also died.
So both of them dead now. Read.
And was buried.
Uh-huh.
And in hell he lifted up his eyes.
And where?
Hell he lifted up his eyes.
So in hell, he lifted up his eyes. Right? Read on.
Being in torments.
Being in what?
In torments.
Being in torments. He done had wealth, riches, he done had money, gold, the whole nine, right? Lifted up his head in torments. Read.
And seeth Abraham afar off.
He seen Abraham where?
Afar off.
He seen him way up there somewhere. Far off, read.
And Lazarus in his bosom.
Uh-huh.
And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me.
Uh-huh.
And
He told him to have what on?
have mercy on me.
Have mercy on me. Read.
and send Lazarus, that I may dip the tip of my finger in water.
So he just told him to send a man that he didn't feed. Just to dip the tip of his finger. How much water could you literally get from the tip of your finger? Just, not even a real drop, right? Yeah, I just need that much to do what?
And cool my
I
tongue.
just want to cool my tongue. It's hot down here, right? Read on.
For I am tormented in this flame.
Uh-huh.
But Abraham said,
What do you say?
Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things.
Yeah, wealth, money, gold. He probably had the fame in the land because he was a rich man, right? Read. Read.
And likewise Lazarus evil things. But
He
now,
received what?
but not likewise Lazarus evil things.
Hurt, struggle, loneliness, pain. Read.
But now he is comforted.
But now he's what?
He is
He's
comforted.
comforted. His mansions up there. It's safety up there. It's salvation up there. Read.
And you are tormented.
He's tormented. Read.
And besides all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf.
There's a what?
There's a great gulf
It's a big body of water in between us. Read.
fixed, so that they which would pass from hence to you cannot.
You can't go back. You can't come from here, inside of here, and end up inside of here. You can't do that. When you in this fire, it's too late. You can't go from there to there. Read.
Neither can they pass to us.
Neither can you come here to here. That sounds like banishment to me, right? Excommunicating to me, right? Completely separated, severed to where ain't no way, ain't no roads, ain't no back way to get up here. Ain't none of that. Read.
That would come from thence. Then he said, I pray you therefore, Father, that thou wouldest send him to my father's house.
Uh-huh.
For I have 5 brethren.
He says, send Lazarus to my father's house. Read.
For I have 5 brethren,
Uh-huh.
that he may testify unto them,
I want him to just go and tell them what? What do you want to tell them?
lest they also come into this place of torment.
They following in my same footsteps. I just want him to catch them right here before they end up getting here so they can turn away from it. Read.
And Abraham saith unto him,
Uh-huh.
they have Moses and the prophets.
They got the law and the prophets. That's the only thing they got. That's the only thing we got. You got the law and the prophets to get this thing right. Ain't nobody from your past that done made it to hell or to torment. Ain't nobody coming to tell you, hey, you need to do this right. You got this book to look for. You got these laws. You got this straight and narrow path to look to. Right? In Ephesians 2 and 8. Ephesians 2 and 8. Yeah, get Ephesians 2 and 8. Ephesians 2 and 8. I'll go back to the illustration. Ephesians 2 and 8. How many of y'all want to be like the rich man? Begging for mercy in torment. None of us, right? Ephesians 2 and 8. But the whole thing about salvation is it's not nothing that you could have done to made him want to save us, to made him want to get us back, to restore us. Ain't nothing that we could have done. This was something he had to make up in his mind that he was going to do. He laid it out there for us. We just got to ride the path. All right? Go ahead.
Ephesians 2 and 8. For by grace,
For by what?
for by grace are you saved through faith.
Through what?
Through faith.
I dealt with faith last week, right? How many of y'all went back and reflected on that? That was powerful. One of the weightier matters of the law, faith, right? Believing. Read.
For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of Elohim.
This ain't because you know what I'm saying, that you get granted salvation. It's because he did this. I'm going to save my people. Right? This was the gift that he gave. Right? Somebody come and give you something out of the blue. It ain't nothing that you did that, you know what I'm saying? They wanted to give you the gift. That was something that was in them. This is all this is right here. Matthew chapter 19. Matthew 19 and 10.
Matthew chapter 19 and verse 10. His disciples say unto him.
Hold on, wait. Not 10. I think I misread that. Hold on one second, y'all. While we waiting on that, get Matthew 1 and 21.
Matthew 1 and 21. And she shall bring forth a son, and you shall call his name Yahusha, for he shall save his people.
He shall do what?
He shall save his people.
Well, he gonna restore his people, bring his people back, right? From what?
From their sins.
From their sins. Luke 19 and 10. Because the word salvage is to save, what they say is to save a ship or a crew from the perils of the sea, right?
Luke 19 and 10.
Start at verse 9.
Luke 19 and 9. And Yahushua saith unto him, this day is salvation come to this house, for as much as he also is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man is come to seek and
do what?
To seek
and
to save that which was lost.
He came to save that which was lost. He came to save them people that was out on the sea. They out there. They had, what was that movie? I forget the name of the movie. Perfect Storm, right? They had to send out people to seek and find them people, right? That's what he came to do. He came to seek and to save that which was lost. We were lost. We didn't start off on a narrow path. You and I in this room. We started off on that messed up road over there when we came to know this stuff, right? Y'all notice that that road a little crooked and a little messed up. It ain't straight like the other one. Just another little part of my little illustration, you know what I'm saying? I ain't, Right? Genesis 49. Genesis 49. He gave his life to save the children of Israel and those that are cleaved to the house. Right? We don't have to go through that. We know that. This is a given. Genesis 49 and 1.
Genesis chapter 49 and 1. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
So he's talking about in the latter times, in the last days, right? Now, drop down and get that about Dan.
16.
What verse is that? That's verse 16? Is it
17.
17?
16.
Start at 16. 16.
Genesis 49 and 16.
Uh-huh.
Dan shall judge his people
Uh-huh.
as one of the tribes of Israel.
Uh-huh.
Dan shall be a serpent by the way.
Uh-huh. By the what?
By the way.
Okay.
An adder in the path.
And the what?
An adder in the path.
So he talking about him being a serpent in the way, an adder by the path. Still talking about some type of road or some type of thing that you gotta walk on, ride on, right? Read.
That biteth the horse's heels, so that his rider shall fall backwards. I have waited for thy salvation.
I've done what?
I have waited for your salvation O Yahuwah.
Wait a minute. Now, what can you get out of that last part that he said, I waited for your salvation, O Yahuwah? What can you get out of that particular thing? I have waited for your salvation.
Waiting to get saved.
Waiting to get saved? What else?
To restore.
Deliverance?
Waiting to restore.
Waiting to get restored? Meaning it's not something that's just going to happen like that. It takes time. Back in, what was it, 2008, 2009, 2010, what was that? We thought the world was getting ready to come to an end. You know what I'm saying?
2012.
2012. Thought the world was going to come to an end.
No, we didn't think that.
I mean, well, you know what I mean, right? Y'all don't remember that 2012 people thought the world was coming to an end? Right? And the Israelites was crying out, and then, what was that? My man was saying the world was coming to an end. Right?
Oh yeah, that was man.
Yeah. Everybody crying, oh, it's the end, it's the end. Right? And people thought it was going to happen right then.
I had a neighbor that lived next door to me. He in the mountain now. He left. That's where he left to go.
He's still over there.
They still in the mountain.
That's what
Clown,
happened.
that boy Clown is right.
But that's what happens when people think that it's coming right then and there. You got Israelites that believed it, right? And was excited. Oh, I told y'all, it's coming. Destruction about to happen. When the one out came out and said the levees was about to break, right? And martial law about to pop up, this, that, and the other. Everybody excited. Oh man, it's about to go down, man. This place about to burn. All that type of jazz, right? And then after nothing happened, how did they feel? What was the feeling? Oh man, is this real? You know what I'm saying? This is a long road, man. This ain't nothing that's just fly by night. You know what I mean? But back here in Genesis 49, he said he waited on it. Right? Psalms 25:5. That's that narrow road up there. You don't just drive a couple miles and you get there. What they say, if heaven was a mile away, I'll pack my bags and leave. It ain't a mile away. Ain't a mile away at all. Right? Yep. Psalms 25:5.
Psalms chapter 25 and verse 5. Lead me in thy truth and teach me, for thou art the most high of my salvation. Oh, thee do I want all the day. Remember, O Yahuwah, thy tender mercies and thy loving kindness, for they have been ever of old. Remember not my sins of my youth, nor my transgressions according to thy mercy. Rememberest thou me, for thy goodness' sake, O Yahuwah. Good and upright is Yahuwah. Therefore will he teach sinners in the way.
He will teach sinners in the what?
In the way.
He's going to teach them in the way. Isaiah chapter 2, verse 3. Said he's going to teach sinners in the way. All right? Verse 3.
Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 3. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, let us go up to the mountain of Yahuwah, to the house of the Most High of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways.
He will do what?
He will teach us his ways.
He's going to teach us his ways, right? It's going to be a time and a place where we going to be at, where he going to actually teach us. Ain't going to be none of this, oh, this doctrine is this doctrine is that. He going to teach. He going to let everything be known, right? Read.
And we will walk in his path.
And we will do what?
We'll walk in his path.
We going to walk in this path that he set before us from the jump. Read.
For out of Zion.
For out of what?
For out of Zion.
For out of what?
Zion.
The real one. The real one. The one to come. The real one. Shall go what?
Shall go forth the law and the word of Yahuwah from Jerusalem.
Psalms chapter 13 and verse 5. Psalms 13, 5. Just a couple, you know how to do. Just a couple things about salvation. We're going to get into damnation. Psalms 13 and 5.
Psalms chapter 13 and verse 5. But I have trusted in thy mercy. My heart shall rejoice in thy salvation. I will sing unto Yahuwah, because he hath dealt bountifully with me.
I want y'all to hold on to that. I will sing unto Yahuwah. Now he says, first, my heart shall rejoice in your salvation, and I will sing unto Yahuwah, because he dealt bountifully with me, right? So you got salvation, then you got him singing bountifully after he get this salvation, right? Or because of this salvation. Hold on to that. Keep that locked up there. Now let's deal with damnation for a second. Or condemnation, right? Hebrews 11 and 7. Hebrews 11 and 7.
Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 7. By faith, Noah, by faith.
Don't forget that faith. Don't forget about that faith. It's very, very important. It's very, very key. But by faith, what?
By faith, Noah, being warned of the Most High, of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world.
He did what to the world?
He condemned the world.
Now, when he condemned the world, what happened to it? What did he say happened to the world? Or to the people in the world? What happened to them? Huh? He didn't consume them at that point. Not like that. What happened to them though? It's not a trick question. They died. What happened to the people that got condemned? What happened to the world when it was condemned? The people died. Everybody died. That was, right? So when he rained down some type of condemnation or he condemns something or a place, what happens to it? It's no more. It gets judged, right? Romans 5 and 18. Appreciate it.
Romans chapter 5 and verse 18. Therefore, as by the offense of one, judgment came upon all men.
Wait. By the offense of what?
By the offense of one, judgment came upon all men to condemnation.
To what?
To condemnation.
So he wrought death upon us all. Right? That's just what it is. Because of his sin, death came into us all. This is what we were promised, death after this. When before, it was life, right? But it's just showing when there's condemnation, when somebody gets condemned, it's over for them, right? Go ahead. I mean, get Matthew 12 and 31.
Matthew chapter 12 and verse 41.
31.
And verse 31. Wherefore I say unto you, all manner of sin and blasphemy shall be forgiven unto men, but the blasphemy against the Ruach HaKodesh shall not be forgiven unto men.
This is a condemnation, right? This ain't going to be forgiven. If you blaspheme the Ruach HaKodesh, you're not going to be forgiven. Right? Like when, an example of that is when those Pharisees were saying that Mashiach was casting out devils in the name of who? Beelzebub, right? Now, he was doing this of the Ruach, given to him by the Father. But they said that this was a spirit of a demon. Right? They just blaspheme the Ruach HaKodesh. That can't be forgiven. Right? Keep reading. Verse 32.
And whosoever speaketh a word against the Son of Man, it shall be forgiven him. But whosoever speaketh against the Ruach HaKodesh, it shall not be forgiven him.
Verse 36.
Verse 36. O generation of vipers, how can you, being evil, speak good things?
That's 35. Yeah, that's verse 35.
What you want?
36.
But I say unto you, that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment.
How many of us watch our mouth to this degree? I'm talking about watch your mouth to the point where everything that you spew out of it, you gotta, what they say in your Miranda rights? Everything you everything you say can and will. Everything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. Now, what court of law do we gotta look forward to going to? Is there anything that you can keep from him? No. So everything that you say, literally, it's going to be used against you, whether it be for good or whether it be for bad. It's going to be used against you. You have to watch your mouth. You have to. Think before you speak. Sometimes we got to coach ourselves like we're in elementary school. Think before you speak. Right? Read on.
For by thy word thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned.
Deuteronomy 25, verse 1. On a natural level.
Deuteronomy chapter 25 and verse 1.
Matter of fact, this particular subject we're going to go over in the Bible study. I dealt with faith, so I assume everybody watched that. If you haven't, I encourage you to go back and watch his lesson on faith. Right? Last week we dealt a little bit with mercy. Next week we're going to deal with judgment. You know what I'm saying? It's important. These heavier or weightier matters of the law are very important. He said it, but we look at them like they don't really mean nothing. Right? Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 25 and verse 1. If there be a controversy between men, and they come into judgment.
And they come unto what?
To judgment. That the judges may judge them.
And the judges judge them. Read.
Then they shall justify the righteous.
They have to justify the righteous. Right? What happens if you justify the wicked? Or condemn the just and justify the wicked? What happens to you? You accountable by the Most High. Whether it's on a level of a judge in the courtroom, or it's just you saying, oh yeah, this happened, and I know this happened, or this, you know what I'm saying? You are accountable for it. We have to always give out righteous judgment. He hit me. Did you see him hit you? No, I just know he hit me. That's not righteous judgment. I mean, as small as it is, that's not righteous judgment. You got to know. Right? 2, 3 witnesses shall everything be established, right? So from a small matter to a great matter, you have to rain down righteous judgment. When you're speaking about a person, you got to know what you're saying is true if you're going to say it about them. Oh, such and such is an evil person. How do you know that? Oh, well, man, my man never said. You don't know that. Now, because you said it out your mouth, it's going to either justify you or condemn you with the Most High. You got to watch what you say, and you got to have righteous judgment. Well, go ahead. You shall justify the righteous, and what else?
You shall justify the righteous, and condemn the wicked.
1 Kings chapter 8. Because that's what he gonna do. He gonna justify the righteous. He gonna condemn the wicked. All right? 1 Kings 8 and 32.
First Kings chapter 8 and verse 32. Then hear thou in Shamaim.
Then what?
Then hear thou in Shamaim.
Who in the Shamayim listen? Father and the Son, right? Then hear you in Shamayim, and what else?
And do, and judge thy servants,
Uh-huh.
condemning the wicked,
Because that's what he gonna do. Condemning the wicked, doing what else?
to bring his ways upon his
He
head.
gonna bring his ways upon his head. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13 tell us what? What's the whole duty of man?
Commandment.
Right? And what else? Go to it. We ain't quoted good enough. Please, oh, what you got? Ecclesiastes 12 and 13.
Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yah and keep his commandments.
Yep.
For this is the whole duty of man.
Read on.
For the Most High shall bring every work into judgment.
He gonna bring every work, just like everything you say, everything you do. He gonna bring it in judgment. Read.
With every secret thing.
With every what?
With every secret thing,
Uh-huh.
whether it be good or whether it be evil.
Let's go back. So everything you do, he gonna bring back on you. Right? Everything you say, can and will be used against you. Everything you do, can and will be used against you. Move righteously. Move right. Hold your steps. Right? 1 Kings 8 and 32 again.
1 Kings 8 and 32. Then hear thou in Shamaim, and do, and judge thy servants, condemning the wicked, to bring his ways upon his head, and justifying the righteous, to give him according to his righteousness.
So he gonna give the wicked according to their wickedness, and the righteous according to their righteousness. It's simple. It's simple. I was just talking with the brothers the other day. All these other quote-unquote gods and religions, there's so much that they want you to do. You got to cut on yourself in some religions. You got some that you got to be quiet all day long. You know what I'm saying? You can't say nothing. You got some religions that you got to come out of pocket what you ain't got. You got some, I mean, you got, it's all type of religions out here, man, that how you doing all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Some religions, how you blow yourself up. The Most High requires you to be a human being, a straightforward human being. Eat right, deal with your neighbor as you want to, as you would deal with yourself. Believe on Him, keep His commandments. That's it. That's simple. We make it hard. We make it hard. We gonna see that. Get John 14:16. So we got salvation on one end, we got damnation or condemnation on the other end, right? And we see right there that path that says laws, right? This would be who? Who would that path be? A Mashiach, because he said, you ain't even got to get to John 14. But he says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, right? So he's the way. We see that path. Right? That's what we was going to in John 14. We don't need to go there. We know that. Right? But get John chapter 5 and verse 24. John 5 and 24. Which road, which way, which path are you taking? 24.
John chapter 5 and 24. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that heareth my word and believe on him that sent me have everlasting life.
So if you hear the word, you believe, and you got everlasting life. Plain and simple, right? Read.
And shall not come into condemnation, but is passed from death unto life.
So you pass from death unto life once you hear his words, once you believe on his words, right? Now, this is simple. We make it harder. We're going to see how. Get Joshua chapter 1 and 7. Joshua 1 and 7.
Joshua chapter 1 and verse 7. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law.
He said, observe to do according to what?
All the law.
Some of the law.
All the law.
Part of the law.
All the law.
Read.
Which Moses my servant commanded you.
Like Abraham told the rich man, right? He said they got Abraham and the prophets to look to. I mean, they got Moses and the prophets to look to. So do we. Read.
Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left.
Don't turn from it to the right hand or to the left. Right? What's on the right hand? What's on the left? If you turn out of the way, what you gonna run into? Damnation. Right? 2nd Ezra chapter 7. Here you go. Second Ezra chapter 7. Don't turn from the right of it or to the left of it.
2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 6. There is also another thing. A city is builded and is set upon a broad field and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow.
The entrance thereof is what?
Narrow.
It's narrow. It's small. Right? Read.
And is set in a dangerous place to fall.
It's set in a dangerous place for you to fall off. The dangers of this way will be your hurt. It will be your struggle. It will be all of these things that you don't think are good for you in the road. These are the things that's going to help you get and appreciate the kingdom. So it's set in a place, a dangerous place for you to fall. Read.
The entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water.
So it's a fire on the what hand?
Fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water.
So it's a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water. So if you turn from it to your right or to your left, where you gonna end up? Dead. No matter where you go. No matter where you go, you're gonna end up dead, right? So we gotta stay on the path, right? Stay in the way. Read.
And one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small,
So what?
so small that there could but one man go there at once.
Only one person at a time. One person at a time. You can't save your wife. You can't save your husband. Right? You can't save your babies. When it's time to walk, you gotta walk. What happens if you turn around trying to grab somebody that ain't trying to walk? You might slip yourself. You gotta walk. This your walk. It's small and it's only small enough for one person at a time. Ain't no walking two and two. It ain't like when you walking on the ark when the animals was able to have a mate with them. Ain't none of that. You by yourself in this one. Every man got to work out his own salvation. Right? Keep reading.
If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance?
If you don't never go through looking over at the fire and the water, if you don't tightrope this thing till you get there, how you gonna ever get to that city? It ain't no back road. You know what I'm saying? Where we at? What's this? Ewall Circle, right? How many of y'all took the lodge to get here? Took the lodge. How many of y'all took 96 to Davidson? 96 to Davidson. How many of y'all took Dexter? A lot of ways to get here, right? Ain't like that with it. You ain't taking Dexter, 96. You ain't taking all that. It's one road. One road. One by one. So we get to the kingdom, man. How you get here, man? You know I got here. But the same way. Right?
Ain't no shortcut.
Ain't no shortcut.
I tell you, Black Mike can get you there. He can get it back.
And he Black Mike. We're going to talk about Black Mike. There's a lot of Black Mikes out. We're going to deal with Black Mike. I'm glad you said something about Black Mike. We're going to deal with Black Mike today. Is that the end on that? Okay. Get Proverbs chapter 3. Verse 5. Everybody should know this verse. I say it in the church all the time. Proverbs 3 and 5.
Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 5. Trust in Yahuwah with all thine heart.
That sounds like faith to me. Faith thing keep on popping up, man. It's important. Read.
And learn and lean not unto your own understanding.
Do anybody know, like, the specific reason why he say don't lean to your own understanding? Because you stupid.
Because your ways are not my ways.
Your ways are not his ways. You stupid. What else? Deceitful, delusion. The heart is deceitful, right?
And he says so.
Because he says so. That too. So he says, lean not to your own understanding. Read on.
Lean not to your own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him.
In all your ways, whatever you do, you got to acknowledge him, right? Let's get Proverbs 8 and 13. Let's see why I say don't lean to your own understanding.
And ye shall direct that path.
And he shall do what? I'm sorry.
Direct that path.
He shall direct your path, right? Let's see why he say don't lean to your own understanding. Proverbs 8 and 13.
Proverbs 8 and 13. The fear of Yahuwah is to hate evil.
So he says the beginning of wisdom is to do what? Fear the Most High, right? But what did he say for this?
The fear of Yahuwah
Now, the fear of Yahuwah is what?
is to hate evil.
To hate evil. So now he gave you the entrance on how to get wisdom, how to get knowledge, right? Now he's telling you what that consists of. To fear Yahuwah is to do what?
To hate evil.
Hate evil,
Pride.
pride,
And arrogance.
arrogance,
And the evil way.
and the evil what?
And the evil way.
And the evil way. Read.
And the forward mouth
And for the perverse mouth. Read.
do I hate.
Uh-huh.
Counsel is mine.
Uh-huh.
And sound wisdom.
And what?
Sound wisdom.
Sound wisdom. Sound doctrine. Now all this stuff belongs to the Most High. Ain't nobody coming out with no doctrines. Can't nobody take claim or take hold to these words. These is the Father's words. Anytime you see somebody, oh yeah, this my stuff. This my, you seen people do it, right? Ain't no light in them. You can't take esteem away from the Most High and lift them up at the same time. Don't work like that. Right? Read.
I am understanding.
He what?
I am understanding.
He says, I am understanding. I am the understanding. So why not lean to your own? His is the one you need to get.
Right.
Your understanding is going to end up being stupid, foolish, deceitful, right? You got to lean on him. This is what he wants us to do in the first place, right? Get verse 20.
I have strength. Verse 20. I lead in the way of righteousness.
He do what?
I lead in the way of righteousness.
So he in the forefront of his way. He's showing you where to go if you lean to him, right? Read.
In the midst of the paths of judgment.
In the midst of the paths of judgment, he is in the middle of it. In the way. Come on this way. No. Don't go over there. Stop playing. Come here. Right? Like you do your babies, right? Read.
That I may cause those that love me to inherit substance.
To inherit what?
Substance.
Mm-hmm.
And I will fill their treasures. Yahuwah possessed me in the beginning of his way.
He did what?
He possessed me in the begining of his way.
Now this about to start going into talking about Hamashiach. Let's read a little bit of it. It says, he says in the beginning he possessed him in his way. Read.
Before his works of old.
Before the works of old. Right? Now, who writing this proverb? But this ain't talking about whoever writing this proverb, this ain't talking about them. This is what we show that he is in the volume of the book. Keep reading. Verse 23.
I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. When there was no depths, I was brought forth. When there was no fountains abounding with water, before the mountains were settled, before the hills was, I brought forth.
So he was there before anything. So when you actually get away from the Most High, or get away, not get away, who would that be? It would be him, right? He told you he was the way. I was there before everything was made. When he put me there, there you got your way, right? To get to him. Get Proverbs 12 and 28.
Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 28. In the way of righteousness is life, and in the pathway thereof there is no death.
Ain't no death when you on the way of righteousness. You going to life. Now, do he mean that you're not going to actually die? No. There won't meet anybody that dies on the road? No. But he's talking about the death. Ain't no death in his way, right? Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 14.
Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 14. Enter not into the path of the wicked.
Don't go into the path of the wicked. Why?
And go not in the way of evil men.
What do he tell you to do?
Avoid it.
Do what?
Avoid it.
Avoid it. Read.
Pass not by it.
Don't even go by it. Don't even look towards it. Read.
Turn from it and pass away.
Get away from it. Don't even think about that path of the wicked. It ain't gonna be nothing there that's good for you. Keep reading.
For they sleep not, except they have done mischief.
What they say open at 2, 3 in the morning? Legs and ain't nothing good out there late, right? They don't sleep. You got places, you got the club closed at 2, then you got the after hour, right? Casino, wherever you want to go. They don't sleep, right? Read.
And their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall.
Unless they do what?
Cause some to fall.
Black Mike is trying to get you, Black Mike he was talking about. The one that's on the side that can get you a better way, can get you in there, another way. That's him. All right? Now, Maccabee said something before, and it remains true to this day. the same person that you were before you got into the truth. All of those traits don't leave you when you come into the truth, right? Whether it's for good or for evil, whatever it is, that person that you was, you carry a lot of that person over into the truth, right? The knowledge changes. Oh, you said that? You said, y'all can fight over that later. I don't know.
I already know, but you know what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? So you have, you got. Oh, okay. So you got that same person that you was to a degree is over here. Only thing that's added is this knowledge. That's the only thing greater that you have from before, the knowledge, right? And how you choose to walk it out. So, how can I put this? When I was in school, right, stuff came to me easier. So I didn't have to work as hard. You know what I'm saying? I was one of those kids that got everything like this. I didn't have to go and cram and hit the books hard because it came to me already. You know what I'm saying? But when it came to basketball, wasn't that good. I was chubby. I was slow. I had to, in order to be good at that, I had to work extra hard. I'm talking about in the wintertime, outside shooting jump shots. You know what I'm saying? Late at night, 2, 3 in the morning, mom's got to bang on the window for me to come in the house. You know what I'm saying? I had to work extra hard to get what I wanted. I wasn't used to that. You know what I'm saying? So when I came into the truth, that same drive and hunger came for the word. I didn't know. I didn't know nothing about the word. I thought I did. I got ordained to be a minister. When I seen this truth, it was edit that part out. No, but I got ordained to be a minister, right? But I didn't have no knowledge of the book. When I seen it for what it was like, man, nothing that I ever thought was real was real. You know what I'm saying? So I had to work extra hard to get to a place where I felt like, okay, I know a little bit. But it don't stop. I got to keep on fighting and keep on fighting. Just like when you playing sports, whatever you do that you good at. I do the garments, right? In order to get good, you had to keep doing what?
Keep making them.
You had to keep making them. You got to keep at it. You don't never stop. So when I look at that person that I was and I carry that trait over into this knowledge, I'm happy with that. You know what I'm saying? But some people carry that trait over for not, I won't say for evil, but some people were lazy on things. So when they carry this over here into this knowledge, they just accept stuff. Oh, he said that? Oh, bet, that's what it is. Right? Right? Man, he an elder, man. You better listen to him, man. Did you study it? No, man. That's quiet, man. What you mean? I ain't got to study that. But you do. You know what I'm saying? You can't be lazy when it comes to this. You know what I'm saying? If you were a fake person in the world, 9 times out of 10, when you get into this knowledge, that's not going to change unless you change it. Right? You know what I'm saying? So you have to, if you transition and you still the same person and it's for the worse, you need to change that. You need to flip that because you got salvation, you got damnation. You have a path, a road in between these two. The only thing that's going to get you to the one or to the other is what? You. Your will is going to get you from the one to the other. Your will, your willingness to do or the lack thereof. Right? The willingness to change, to get uncomfortable. That's what's going to get you there. Right? That's a long road to the kingdom. It's a lot of messed up stuff you got to go through. But are you willing to go through it to get what's greater on the other side? Or do you get tired in the middle of it and say, man, man, I can't deal with this. Like, I give kudos to my wife. Like when I'm at work, she got to deal with the babies. She can't give up. She got 2 of them. You know what I'm saying? You can't give up. You can't just stop, but you just gonna not feed the babies. You gonna not change them. If you do that, we gonna have to fight. But you can't stop. You can't give up. If you trying to get somewhere, if you trying to get something done, you gotta do it until it's done. Those that endure to the end, right? 2 Corinthians 8 and 12. 2 Corinthians 8 and 12. 2 Corinthians 8 and 12.
2 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 12. For if there be first a willing mind.
If there be what?
First a willing mind.
You have to be willing. There have to be a willing mind there in order for the body to follow. Right? It got to be a willing mind. Go ahead.
It is accepted according to that man hath, and not according to that he have not.
So it says, for if there first is a willing mind, it is accepted according to what a man has. You got to work with what you got. Some people say, oh man, if I had a little bit more money, man, I had a better job, I'd be able to keep the Shabbat. Because right now, you know what I'm saying? Or when you got, man, my baby mom's, man, like she ain't really with it, man. She gonna leave me if I don't deal with this. I gotta roll with her, man. She be cooking them shrimps, boy. You know what I'm saying? I can't stop eating them shrimps, boy. You gotta fight through that. If you fight through that, you gonna get what you trying to get. You fight through it. You know what I'm saying? When you get to a place where you feel like you done tapped out, you gotta push through. Right? Ain't no such thing as I can't take it no more. Because he ain't gonna put on you more than what you need. Right? Revelations 3 and 20. You gotta be willing to do it. If you willing to do it, he gonna give you what you asking for. Right? Might not be today, but it's gonna happen. Right? Revelations 3 and 20.
Revelations chapter 3 and verse 20. Behold, I stand at the door.
He did what?
I stand at the door.
Who this talking?
Mashiach.
Mashiach say, I stand at your door. Read.
And knock. And if any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in to him.
You got to be willing to open the door. Everything that you do takes will. Either you will or you will not. If he not, you got to open the door. He ain't going to come through. He's not just going to barge in. He ain't going to invade your personal space. You know what I'm saying? He one of them type of people, you don't want to be with me, I don't want to be with you. He ain't going to beg you. But he says, if he not, what happened?
I open the door, I will come in to him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame.
If you can overcome this narrow, this narrow, tight path, you're going to be able to sit and sup with him. This is just simple. Read.
And am set down with my Father in his throne. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the congregations.
James 4 and 7.
James chapter 4 and verse 7. Submit yourselves therefore to the Most High.
You got to be willing to submit. Submit yourself to the Most High. What else?
Resist the devil.
Do what?
Resist the devil.
And what are you going to do?
And he will flee from you.
But if you don't resist him, he ain't going nowhere. Right? And any man had a issue with masturbation in his youth? Right? I mean, is what it is, right? But in order for you to, when you doing that, you know what I'm saying? You gotta, you lusting in a lustful way. I mean, I'm being real, right? You thinking lustful thoughts. You, I mean, it's a bunch of stuff that go with that, right? We ain't got to get into no details, right? What? How do you stop? How do you stop putting yourself in that position? You got to resist it, but what do you got to do?
You gotta pray.
You got to stop.
Just
It's the only way. You got to stop. That's the only way you're gonna get away from it. Because it's gonna eat you alive, and it's gonna make you feel like you have to. When you don't, you gotta stop. It's your will. Everything that you do is up to you. You gotta stop. That's what anything that we're dealing with that got unrighteousness attached to it. You just gotta stop. Right? Get Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 19. Matter of fact, get 2 Samuel chapter 13 since we're on the topic. Resist and he'll flee. 2 Samuel 13 and 1.
Second Samuel 13 and 1. And it came to pass after this that Absalom, the son of David, had a fair sister whose name was Tamar. And Amnon, the son of David, loved her.
So, brother loved his sister. Right? Read on.
And Amnon was so vexed that he fell sick for his sister.
So he was so wrapped up in her that he fell sick because of it. She wouldn't get out of his mind. He was always thinking about her. When he seen her, he was like, oh my goodness, man, this, whew. Right? He was love sick. Right? Over his sister. Read on.
Tamar, for she was a virgin.
She was a virgin. This intrigued him. Remember, the book say he was vexed because he wanted to be with her. Meaning he was suffering because he wanted to be with her so bad. Read.
And Amnon thought it hard for him to do anything to her.
He like, man, how I'm gonna do something? I gotta devise a plan on how I can get that. Now this is wrong according to the law, right?
Absolutely.
Anybody can quote it? Quote the law? No, not covenant. What is he doing? Not adultery.
Uncover the nakedness.
It's incest, but what's the law? What is he doing wrong? What if he lied with his sister? What did he do wrong? Expose their nakedness, right?
Yeah.
You shall not uncover whose nakedness?
Now the mothers.
It's Leviticus 18. That give you the whole rundown. Somebody give me that law. Everybody need to be in Leviticus 18 looking for it. I just you know, hey, you got it? Let me see. What it say?
The nakedness of thy sister, the daughter of thy father, or the daughter of thy mother, whether she be born at home or born abroad, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover.
You shall not uncover their nakedness. Right? What did he say? Read Leviticus 18 and 1.
And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am Yahuwah, your power, after all the doing of the land of Egypt, wherein you dwelt, you shall you should not do.
So he told her everything y'all did in Egypt, don't come over here doing. Now here we got the king's son wanting to sleep with his sister so bad that it made him sick. Now he devised a way to actually lay with her. But if he would have just stopped, got away from the situation, it wouldn't have never happened. Right? Isaiah 1:19. Y'all go read that story on y'all spare time. See what actually happened. Isaiah 1:19. What we actually looking at is the same things that can save you is the same thing that can damn you. The law, the love of Mashiach, the love of the Father, the mercy, the judgment, the faith, all these things can get you salvation. But all of these same things, if you don't do them, will grant you damnation. Right? Isaiah 1:19.
Isaiah 1:19. If you be willing and obedient.
If you be what?
If you be willing and obedient.
If you be willing and obedient,
you shall eat the good of the land. But if you refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured with the sword.
So if you refuse to be obedient, to keep his commandments, you're going to be devoured with the sword. You're going to die that death. All right? James 1:22. James 1:22. Show y'all.
James 1:22. But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only.
How many of y'all come in here every week and just listen? How many of y'all do? You come in here, you do. You actually do it. You actually live out this word. How many of us still commit sin? All right. What stops you from committing sin? You. You stop you from committing sin. Right? You got a bad son?
Bad sin.
Bad sin?
Shopping.
Shopping? But when you overindulge, you know what I'm saying? And you make that your power. You know what I'm saying? You let that take hold of you. It can lead you to it. Definitely. So if you realize that, like we gonna get 1 John chapter 3, right quick. Get 1 John chapter 3. Verse 19. Because a lot, like, you know how when you do something and you don't know if it's a sin or not, you can't really tell, but then you feel a certain type of way, you're like, oh man, I don't know if that was right. I don't know if I should have did that. Right? 1 John chapter 3 and verse 19.
1 John chapter 3 and verse 19. And hereby we know that we are of the truth, and shall assure our hearts before him.
He said, we know that we are of the truth, right? Of Mashiach, of the law, the statutes, the commandments. But he says that we ought to do what?
And shall assure our hearts before him.
We have to assure our hearts before him. If you are plagued in your mind, like, oh man, am I doing something wrong? Is this wrong? Should I be doing this? Should I be saying this? Should I be, you know what I'm saying? That means you're not sure. That means you're not confident. He says if we are of the truth, that means we got to assure our hearts before him. Ain't no second guessing. Read the next verse.
For if our hearts condemn us, the Most High is greater than our heart, and knoweth all things.
So if your heart condemn you, you condemn within yourself. He see everything. You can't hide your condemnation of yourself from him. So now what? You gonna get condemned. You have to make sure your heart is right with the Most High in everything that you do. Right? To the point where, for example, if you are doing something wrong, or you think that you're doing something wrong, or it's if you know you're doing something wrong, what do you have to do? Not just stop, but you have to yourself. You have to find a way to. I can't even get 1 Corinthians chapter. Let's see. First, get Philippians 2 and 5, and we'll get the next verse. First Philippians 2 and 5.
It said First Philippians.
I said First Philippians?
Yeah.
Wow, my bad. Philippians 2 and 5. I'm thinking about 1 Corinthians.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to get there next. But Philippians 2 and 5. Philippians 2 and 5.
Philippians 2 and 5.
Remember, you got to assure your heart, right? And you can't second guess in your mind whether you're doing right or you're doing wrong. If you think you're doing wrong, you probably need to change it. You probably need to change it. If you think you're doing wrong, you probably need to change it. For conscience sake. Right? Philippians 2 and 5.
Philippians 2 and 5. Let this mind be in you.
Let what mind be in you?
Let this mind be in you.
Read.
Which was also in Hamashiach.
Did he ever question anything that he was given to do? When he can boldly state that he ain't got no sin on him. Right? That means his heart was assured before the Most High. Right? Read.
Who, being in the form of the Most High, thought it not robbery to be equal with the Most High.
To the point where he was like, it's not robbery to say I'm equal with the Father. Right? This is how sure he was. Get 1 Peter 4 and 1. You got to make sure your heart is sure. You got to make sure you got the mind of Mashiach in you. Because any doubt in your mind, remember, he said anything that is without faith is what? It's sin. If you got doubt in your mind, you need to change up the scene. 1 Peter 4 and 1.
1 Peter 4 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
For as much then as Hamashiach have suffered for us in the flesh,
Mm-hmm.
arm yourselves likewise with the same mind.
Arm yourself likewise with the same mind. Right? The same mind he had, the same confidence he had, you got to make sure you got it. Flat out. If you think you're doing something wrong, change it. Find it out. Search it out. Be like the people at Berea, where it says they searched the scriptures to see whether these things were so. Don't just sit on it. Because this could be your ticket to salvation or the damnation. Your consciousness has to be square. It got to be right. Right? Get 2 Corinthians 13. And verse 5. 2 Corinthians 13, 5.
2 Corinthians 13 and 5.
What did he tell us to do?
Examine yourself.
Examine yourself. It still take a willing mind to do that. A lot of people be knowing that they're wrong in what they do and just let it ride. You need to examine yourself. You need to think about what you're doing. Put yourself through the ringer like you would put somebody else through the ringer. Anybody ever bought a car before? When you bought a car, what did you have to find out about this car in order for you to purchase it? Everything. Everything. There was nothing that you didn't have to see about this car. I need to know the mileage. I need to know how many owners it's been. I need to know, was it an accident? I need to know everything. You're going to drill the person who's selling you this car. Because you want good product. You got to want the same thing for yourself. You got to examine yourself. Because you want to be good product for the Most High. Right? Dope dealers, when they test that coke, they want to see if it's gonna numb. I don't know nothing about that, but you know what I'm saying? I watch a lot of movies. You know what I'm saying? But they gotta test it. They gotta examine it. Ain't no just, hey man, you know, good looking. I seen what Ricky Ross said. Somebody gave him like a brick of sugar. You know what I'm saying? You gotta examine yourself. You gotta make sure that your consciousness, that your conscience is not severed. Right? 1 Corinthians 11. 1 Corinthians 11, 31. Let's take it further. Not only examining yourself, but if you find that there's something wrong in you, that you're doing something wrong, now you got to do something about it. Now you got to do something about it. And that's not just stopping. You got to go further than just stopping. It's a lot of people that I've seen were smokers. They stopped smoking and picked up the cigarette again. Picked up the weed again. People that stopped drinking because they knew that when they drink, they get crazy, and then picked up the bottle again. You know what I'm saying? You can't only just stop. It's something you got to do after that. Read that.
1 Corinthians 11, what?
31, I said 31, 31.
1 Corinthians 11 and 31. For if we would judge ourselves,
You do what?
if we would judge ourselves,
If you judge yourself, what happens?
we should not be judged.
If you correct yourself, he ain't got to do it. Not saying that his correction is wrong, because like he says, if you don't correct yourself and he got to do it, and he love you, he gonna correct you. He gonna chastise you like you his son, right? But if you correct yourself first, he ain't got to do it. That's one less thing he got to do to you. That's one less thing, a struggle you got to go through because of what you've done. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to correct yourself. Don't wait on him to do it if you know what you're doing wrong. Let's take it further. Get Matthew chapter 5, verse 29. Let's take it a step further. Because he says, judge yourself, right? Matthew 5 and 29.
Matthew 5 and 29. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out.
You think he was playing when he said that? I'm asking. No? Anybody else? Anybody think he was playing? This is just straight talk. If your eyes offend you and to get you into committing sin, your best bet would have been to pluck it out. Some people, that actually need to happen. But the thought of plucking your eye out could correct somebody on the rip. Right? Sometimes you got to take action on yourself. I'm not telling you to pluck your eyes out. Right? Yeah, I just want to let that be. No, I'm not saying pluck your eye out.
He's reading it for what it says. Keep going.
If your right eye offends you, pluck it out. Do what?
Pluck it out and cast it away. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, that not thy whole body should be cast into the hell.
If this little thing right here, with the little bally in it, is causing you to commit iniquity, take it out. I would rather you throw that away than the whole thing to go with it. That's serious right there. I don't see him smirking when he's saying that. You know what I'm saying? That's serious. Sometimes you got to take action on yourself. Keep reading.
And if thy right hand offend thee,
No pun intended from what we was talking about earlier. Right?
cut it off and cast it from you.
Mm-hmm.
For it is profitable for you that one of thy members should perish, and not thy whole body should be cast into hell.
Plain and simple. If you know that you're doing something wrong, if you know that you're committing sin, if you know in your mind that your conscience is not squared off with the Most High and righteousness, you got to change it. You got to get at yourself first, so he ain't got to do it. Because when he do it, it's a little different. You know what I'm saying? If you touching the plug, and mama say stop touching the plug, and you be like, you know what? I'm not going to touch this plug no more. I don't have to whoop you. My son did this earlier today. He was playing with something on the table, and I was like, stop touching that. He got ready to go and do it again, and he stopped and was like, I told him, looked in the air and walked away. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. He's going to whoop me if I do that. You know what I'm saying? We got to think the same way. If you know that committing iniquity is going to get you some type of punishment, you should stop doing it so you don't have to go through the punishment. That's simple. That's easy as pie. When your babies keep doing madness over and over and over again, I use babies because everybody got children or have had children. Some way, shape, or form. If you ain't got it, you're going to get it. Pray to Yah, you get it, right? You would think, like, why won't, I know he know this whooping hurt. Why won't he just stop? They say foolishness is wrought in the mind of a child, though. And we're children in the eyes of the Most High, right? So foolishness is in your mind until you have the mind of Mashiach, what we just read that we supposed to have. Right? Get to it yourself before he got to it. Right? Get 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 6. Let's bring it together. Let's bring it together. Salvation and damnation. Right? Salvation and damnation. It's a road that you got to take. It's a path in between. You got to be willing to take one or the other. Right? 2 Peter 2 and 6.
2 Peter 2 and 6. And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes.
Into what?
Into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow.
Because it says that their sins had reached where?
Shamayim.
He reached to the Shamayim. Remember, he says, if it come up to the Shamayim, he going to justify the righteous, he going to condemn the wicked. He got rid of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Let's go back to Genesis 19 real quick. Genesis 19, and let's pick it up at the 17th verse.
Genesis 19 and 17. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, escape for your life. Look not behind you, neither stay you in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed.
So now he getting ready to rain down on this place. They told him, hey, leave out, escape to the mountains, right? How many people left? How many people was with him? Him and his wife and his daughters, right? There's 4 of them, right? Did they have to leave on their own? His other children stayed. Right? Remember, it says only one person can leave at a time. His wife had to make a decision. I'm going to leave. His daughters had to make decisions. I'm going to leave. But he said, don't turn back. Don't backslide. So you see that road, right? They started down there with her at. Oh, man, we got to leave. They had to struggle. They thought about it. Oh, man, I'm going to leave. Not going to leave. No, we got to leave, right? Soon as they get up there and you see that big old hole open up, you hear that fire coming down out of the sky. What does wife do? What's the point? You just made it out. What you looking back for? You got turned into a pillar of salt, right? Salvation and damnation just went hand in hand. Same thing that saved Lot and his daughters is the same thing that killed his wife. Isaiah chapter 43, 15. Y'all notice that a lot of times when it was the Most High talking, right? Or when Mashiach was being his mouthpiece, that he would always say, I am he that brought you up out of Egypt. He would say this a whole lot. Right? Why is that? Why did he always mention Egypt? As far as Israel is concerned. We was in bondage, he brought us out. What else? It's a reminder. This is the greatest thing you as Israel, now we ain't talking about the stuff he was doing before, you're talking about as Israel, this is one of the greatest things you've ever seen. Right? You should appreciate me for doing that for you. We still don't appreciate it. Isaiah 43:15.
Isaiah chapter 43 and verse 15. I am Yahuwah, your Kodesh one, the creator of Israel, your king. Thus saith Yahuwah, which maketh a way in the sea.
He did what?
That maketh a way in the sea.
He made a way in the sea. Read.
And a path in the mighty waters.
He made a path in the mighty waters. Read.
Which bringeth forth the chariots and horse.
Can I ask y'all a question? If people would have went to their right or to their left, what would have happened to them? You'd drown. This was him showing you, you got to walk straight on this path to get up out of destruction. Right? Read.
Which bringeth forth the chariots and horse.
He brought what?
The chariots and horse.
What is he talking about when he say he brought forth the chariots and horse? Hold that thought. Keep going.
Which bringeth forth the chariot and horse, the army and the power.
What are you talking about? Pharaoh and his chariots. Right? Read.
They shall lie down together, and they shall not rise.
They shall lie down together and not rise. Read.
They are extinct.
Uh-huh.
They are quenched as tow.
Let's go back there right quick. Exodus 14. Let's see something. 14 and 13. Exodus 14 and 13.
Exodus chapter 14 and verse 13.
Wait, matter of fact, go back to verse 10. I keep hitting on this particular subject because it's important. All right?
Exodus chapter 14 and verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were sore afraid. And the children of Israel cried out unto Yahuwah.
They were what?
Sore afraid.
He just brought them out of there. Ain't nobody died. Ain't nothing happened to nobody. These plagues just popped off with these people. We was good. And now y'all afraid. I just killed all of their firstborn sons. And y'all afraid? No faith. When your back stacked up against the wall and you know he done did all this stuff for us in the book, what you scared of? What's the point? Keep reading.
And they were sore afraid. And the children of Israel cried out unto Yahuwah. And they said unto Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness?
It wasn't enough graves in Egypt. You could have just killed us over there if you wanted us dead. Right? Read.
Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us, to carry us forth out of Egypt? Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt?
Didn't we tell you what to tell them?
Saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians.
Leave us alone that we may serve the Egyptians. You ungrateful. Beep. Are you serious? Instead of going and be free, being able to be on your own, you ain't got to serve nobody but the Most High. You want him to leave you alone. Let us be over here. Let us eat this garbage. Egypt is another word for what? Bondage. Mashiach came to save you away from what? And there's still people that want to be stuck under the bondage of sin as opposed to grabbing hold to the salvation that he laid out for you. You ain't got to say it out your mouth. Let us. You could have left us in Egypt. You ain't have to say it out your mouth. You do it with your actions. A lot of people just don't got the will to do right. You want to, you just ain't got the will to. Right? Man, wish you would never came and died, man. I gotta do this. Oh, man. You ain't gotta say it with your mouth.
Oh my goodness.
Man, I wish that boy ain't come over and hit me with that truth. I can't get out of my mind. Read.
Is carried us into the Egypt. Is not this the word that we did tell you in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. And Moses said unto the people, fear not, stand still, and see the salvation of Yahuwah, which he will shew you today. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today, ye shall see them again no more.
So he told
forever.
us these people weren't going to be seen no more forever. He just told us in Isaiah 43 that they was extinct. Right? He carried these chariots, these armies, these horses right into the same path that they was in. Right? Read.
For Yahuwah shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace.
Now, how many people are out here, quote unquote, preaching the truth? How many of us think that we on that straight and narrow path in the truth? Everybody, right? Yeah. But how many people are actually on it? It ain't a lot. The waters is up and they split. Right? They up there. He's giving time for the people that he want to get on the cross. He's giving time for them to get across. Read on.
And Yahuwah said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel, that they go forward. But lift thou up thy rod, and stretch out thy hand over the sea, and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. And I, behold, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they shall follow them.
And they shall what?
They shall follow them.
They shall follow them. They gonna come right with you. They gonna come right with you. Read on.
And I will get me honor upon Pharaoh and upon all his host.
Now you got a lot of people that actually think they're doing right, like we said, right? But the Most High set up some of these people and put them in the place. What's my man's name? Black who?
Black Mike.
Black Mike, right? Set him up and put him in a place just to make you think that. It said the Most High created good and he created evil. And the evil for his esteem. Read.
Get me honor upon Pharaoh and upon all his hosts, upon his chariots, upon his horsemen, and the Egyptians shall know that I am Yahuwah when I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen. And the Malachim of Yahuwah, which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them, and the pillar of the cloud went from before their face and stood behind them. And it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel, and it was a cloud and darkness to them, but it gave light by night to these, so that one came not near the other all night.
So he says it was a big body of water, and it was people split in between it, to where they couldn't get over to you, you couldn't get over there. Does that sound like something we read earlier? All right, read.
And the Malachim of Yahuwah went before the camp of Israel, removed and behind them, and the pillar of the cloud went before their face, and there stood between them. And it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel, and it was a cloud of darkness to them, but it gave light by night to these, so that the one came not near the other all night. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and Yahuwah caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided.
So we see that, right? Water's divided. You got the evil on this side. They didn't show no mercy to the people that they had in captivity. And you have the people that's righteous on the other side. The water dividing them both. It's a big old gulf. Y'all can't get back over there. They can't get to you. Read.
And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on the right hand and on the left. And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them to the midst of the sea,
And what happened?
even all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen.
So now they chasing. They think in their mind that they gonna be able to get to you now. Oh man, he done left it open. Is he crazy, man? We about to kill these Negroes. Read.
And it came to pass that in the morning which Yahuwah looked unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and out of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians, and took off their chariots' wheels, that they drave them heavily, so that the Egyptians said, Let us flee from the face of Israel.
We gotta go back. We gotta go back. Read.
For Yahuwah fighteth for them against the Egyptians. And Yahuwah said unto Moses, Stretch out thine hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen. And Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to his strength when the morning appeared. And the Egyptians fled again against it. And Yahuwah overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. And the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the host of Pharaoh. And it came into the sea after them. There remained not so much as one of them.
How many?
Not one of them.
One of them. Read.
But the children of Israel walked upon dry land in the midst of the sea, and the water were a wall unto them on their right hand and on the left. Thus Yahuwah saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians.
So when we see in the next chapter, they got out of there and they started doing what? They started singing a song to the Most High. Remember I told y'all to hold on to earlier? It says, he rejoiced in his salvation and then he sang a song. That same thing they just did. And I'm going to ask y'all right now, what's the difference, just looking at that, between salvation and damnation? Because in this same body of water, people got saved, people got damned. What's the difference? You, right? What up? Yeah. You are. The same thing that's going to save you or could save you.
The willingness to do what the Most High commanded.
Yeah. But the same thing that could save you is the same thing that can damn you. The same water that we went through to get out on the other side is the same water that killed everybody else. Don't get caught up in the midst of the water. Walk the straight path through. Get to the other side. Get to the kingdom. Don't make a mistake and turn to the right side or to the left. One path. One destination. That's salvation. With that, I say shalom. So, questions, comments, concerns? Anybody know Black Mike? You need to get away from him.